Well, I think we're headed into some new territory in this year's French Open because we're about to see some epic matches. There's been a couple okay matches so far. We got the Gaston team match, which was pretty epic for lots of reasons. We'll get into it. But I think we're about to see the best matches of the tournament so far. The best is ahead of us, you could say. So there's 4 matches upcoming. Each of them is a pretty juicy matchup with some history there. So we're going to get into that, into some of Djokovic's comments about the line judges and all this going on. Lots of action at the French Open, lots of controversy as usual. So let's get into it here on The Slice.
So I don't have many bagels.
Welcome to The Slice.
Welcome to The Slice.
Welcome to The Slice. Okay, folks, thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of The Slice. If you're new here or haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 10K, and at that point, we'll do a pretty sweet giveaway. I'm going to give away some stuff to the fans who literally make this fun and possible. Also, the fans who, like, when I started The Slice, I started it basically because I had no one to talk to about tennis. I would talk to my friends, and I would literally see the eyes, roll back in their heads as I'm starting to blabber on about tennis and Federer, blah, blah, blah. And now it's come to where I say something slightly controversial about Djokovic, someone who's obviously not my favorite tennis player in the world, and then it's like this huge reaction. So I went on my friend Thiem Salah's show, and he asked my opinion on some things, and I answered, and it was crazy. It's like more heated than the U.S. politics at the moment, which are pretty crazy. So that's pretty cool. I love everyone being here. Let's just all remember at the end of the day, this is literally tennis. It's a game that we all love. That's why we're passionate about it. That's why I literally lose sleep over it sometimes. But I just love, thank you for being here and talking and engaging. So we got 4 matches coming up here. But before that, I wanted to quickly jump into another thing with Djokovic. Djokovic hit another umpire today, a line person. Are you kidding me? I'm joking. It was obviously an accident. But he said in his post-match interview, which was pretty funny, and probably not funny from his perspective, because in the actual shot, he reached out to try and hit a return and glanced off and hit the line judge right in the face, which is obviously a mistake, or it's obviously just, it happens all the time. That happens all the time. And he said it was like a bad deja vu. He didn't like it. But he did have another comment before this match, after his last match, where he was talking about the need for line judges to be there. And I didn't see his actual interview, so I need you guys to let me know if he was joking or not when he said this. But he said there's no need for the line judges to be there in the future when we have the technology. And I agree with him on hard courts. The technology doesn't seem to be up to par on the clay yet, so they need him there. But then he said at one point, he's like, and then if the line judges were there, what happened to me in New York wouldn't have happened. And he could have been joking, which is totally fine. But if he wasn't joking, that's not on par. It's like, what would have made what happened at the U.S. Open not happen is if you didn't smoke balls out of anger. I don't know. And there's no chance to hit at anyone then if you don't do that. So, but if he was joking about that, then that's a pretty funny joke actually. But I just wanted to get your reactions. I know the Djokovic diehards out there will just say I'm just attacking his personality, but I was just wondering because I wasn't able to get that full clip. But anyways, into the matches now. So we got the best matches ahead of us, I think, because we saw a pretty epic one in Gaston versus Thiem, the short Frenchman, who I think really took advantage of the conditions, in these slow conditions. I just don't see how a guy like that, he's like 5'7" or 8, is going to do much more damage than he did here. The courts usually aren't this slow at the French Open, and these are the slowest courts in the world. So we'll see, but he had amazing touch. 50 drop shots versus Dominic Thiem, which is crazy. We'll get to that, to Thiem's next matchup. So we got the quarterfinals here. An amazing graphic from The Slice on Instagram. Go follow us there. Daily content. And I think we're really obviously getting to the meat of the tournament because for Djokovic, he's actually turned out to not have the easiest draw. He played Khachanov today, and he looked like I would give him a B+ performance for himself. I think he could have played better. He got broken a couple times. He let Khachanov back into it a little bit. Khachanov always disappoints me. I feel like he can do so much more. He actually, most of you might not even remember this. He beat Djokovic in the final of Paris in 2018, super randomly. So I don't know where that level came from or where it went, but I thought Khachanov was going to be big time by now. But he's getting there. I like him. He's a nice guy. He got into an altercation with Nick Kyrgios, and then I think Nick Kyrgios called him a pelican. So there's that. But Djokovic played pretty good. But getting into so these matchups are going to be, the ones where I start to see players really come into their own. We're going to see where their level's actually at. Because Djokovic had the slight test versus Khachanov. Nadal, though, is still basically playing in a challenger event. He's played 4 challenger players. all who have been, obviously world-class players. But the last match he did was basically a charity event with Korda, who's like his lifelong fan. He's got his cat named Rafa, and he asked for a signature after he got like brutally abused by Nadal on the court. So it's like, I don't know if Nadal's level is really getting shown. We don't really know where Nadal's at on these courts. I guess he's getting a lot of good hitting practice with these matches, but I think Sinner's going to be different for sure. And if you played Thiem or Schwartzman, it would obviously be different as well, I think, because they are much more seasoned vets and used to playing at this level. So I think Nadal's had the easiest ride here so far, but that's about to change. Back to Djokovic versus Pablo Carreno Busta. Carreno Busta played very well today. 3-set win. He's looked very sharp, actually. He looks really comfortable on this speed of a surface. He's slightly better on hard court side, I've seen, according to his stats. But I think this could be a serious test for Djokovic as well. Obviously, Pablo Carreno Busta is the only guy who has a win against Djokovic this year. Yes, it's a default, Djokovic default, but technically that's a win for Pablo Carreno Busta because he won the match. He's the person who progressed from that match. So that counts as a win, counts as a loss for Djokovic. Unfortunately, I would have loved to see Djokovic not hit the umpire. I would have loved that. So anyways, there's a little bit of history here from about a month ago. So in that match, I wrongly said that Djokovic was down a set. Sorry, he was down a break, about to go down a set. And when that happened last time. So this is going to be an interesting match. I could see Djokovic come out with some vengeance and win like 6-2, 6-3, 6-1. So just murder him, absolutely clean off the courts. But if Djokovic doesn't play his best and allows Pablo Carreno to get comfortable and they just dish it out from the baseline, it could be a closer match. I still think Djokovic is the obvious favorite here, but I think Pablo Carreno Busta does possess the tools to, at least if he could catch Djokovic on a bad day, to do some damage. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what Pablo Carreno Busta can really do to hurt Djokovic, but Djokovic is going to have to play good. Obviously, if he wants to be in a good position, probably won't want to drop any sets, because he'll be playing, if he gets through that, which I'm choosing him to, the winner of Tsitsipas versus Rublev, which is such a good match to watch. Like, you got to love this match. A rematch from the Hamburg final last week where Rublev won. And now they come into this match after Tsitsipas has been on an absolute tear. Since dropping the first 2 sets in his match in the first round, he's won all 12 since then. So he's looking very good. He's one of the sneakiest, best players, I think, in this draw. And I think that versus Rublev's going to have to do something better than he did in his match versus Fucsovics. He's going to have to serve better because he had like 56% first serves in, I think. And Tsitsipas is a pretty good returner. And if Tsitsipas can stay up on the baseline and go offensive on the return, he'll get a lot of breakpoint chances, I think, versus Rublev. And I can see Tsitsipas with the way he's playing. I think he's got some serious belief in him. He likes clay now, and he's a competitor. He's going to want to avenge his loss, and he'll want a crack at Djokovic. So I'm taking Tsitsipas in this matchup with Rublev, just based on what I've seen in their last 2 rounds. Tsitsipas dismantled Dimitrov in an amazing fashion today. It's just some of the most beautiful tennis, 2 one-handed backhands. You got to love it. I'm taking Tsitsipas. I like Tsitsipas in this matchup. So then to the bottom half, we got Schwartzman versus Thiem, which is just, if you haven't been paying attention at all, you're probably like, oh, Thiem's going to mash this guy. But Schwartzman beat Nadal in Rome 2 weeks ago, and Thiem just had a brutal 5-setter against Gaston, like who I said gave him 50 drop shots. It's like, you got to just imagine sprinting to the net 50 times and back. You'd be dead. I had a little taste of that in our previous video at Bear Mountain, where I did some Dominic Thiem-esque clay court drills, and then I had to sprint to the net, and I got absolutely destroyed because I'm out of shape.
Come on, reach! Oh, it's there! Oh, that's to me!
So yeah, Thiem, the question for Thiem is how tired, where's he going to be at physically? Because he kind of was pretty open this whole tournament about being tired from the US Open, but he's had 2 weeks since then. So he really shouldn't be a problem. Versus Schwartzman, his shots won't do as much damage, and Schwartzman loves the angles. So I think he's going to have to play smart. He's going to hit big, but when he's hitting big, he's going to have to come in and take those balls out of the net and close the net and try to not go more than 4 sets. I think if he goes more than 4 sets and wins, it's going to be tough for him to beat probably Nadal in the next round. Schwartzman, though, can break people at will, apparently. And I think he'll probably get definitely some breaks against Thiem. And then if he can just get in there and fight, he can beat basically anyone on clay right now, it looks like. He's playing amazing. He hasn't dropped a set all tournament. So we got to put some respect on Schwartzman's name right now. And that's I have a question mark beside. I'm not even going to pick a winner. I think you got to go with Thiem because he's been in the final here the last 2 years, just won a Grand Slam. But Schwartzman he's playing dang good. He's playing out of his socks. So that's going to be a great match. Must see TV. Now we go to Sinner versus Nadal. So I like to look back on when I did the top 10 players of the next 10 years. I think I put Tsitsipas as number 1. I think I put Sinner as like number 3. And I love that because it's kind of coming true because, now they're both in the quarterfinals. Tsitsipas has obviously been a household name, but Jannik Sinner is a baller. Like he took out Zverev, who like had an illness, but then got proven positive. He didn't have COVID, but he was said he felt sick and feverish and couldn't breathe on the court against Sinner, but it might not have even mattered anyways because Sinner is super good. He's got strength on forehand and backhand about the same, and he can do damage from both. Now he's playing Nadal, obviously the king of clay, the clay goat. So what can Sinner do to hurt him? Obviously, he can move very well, and he can obviously hit big from both wings, so it's going to help. But I think what he's going to have to do is, we've seen this time and time again, if you can go backhand strong driving into Nadal's forehand, you can get some looks. So if Sinner wants to have a chance, I think he's got to do that. When Nadal goes cross-court with his lefty forehand, Sinner's got to stay up a little bit closer, I think, and drive the ball back to his forehand with his backhand. Get some shorter balls then, and then attack. And he's just got to swing, play his game, and go for the fences. And you know what? You never know what can happen. We don't really know what Nadal's level is at. And for all my notes for Nadal is do your thing. If Nadal does his thing at the French Open, basically no one can touch him. We know this. So if he plays the way he wants to play and does what he wants to do, it's going to be a win for him. But Sinner has a puncher's chance, I think, because he's got all the tools in the bag. I love his backhand. He's got the Djokovic-esque sliding open stance one or two-handed backhand, and it's deadly. And he's like the future. So I just want to see him do well, but I fully expect Nadal to come through this. So there's a little breakdown of 4 juicy matches. You can't ask for much more than this once you get to the quarterfinals of a slam. I think this tournament's been pretty underwhelming so far. Been some weird rain delays. Every match from now on is going to be played on Philippe Chatrier with the roof hopefully closed the whole time. If it's going to possibly rain, just close the roof. Djokovic was a legend last time, like I talked about, stopping a match where it got dangerous, but I just don't understand why it gets to that level. It's crazy. So leave me your predictions down below. We'll get into it. Make sure you like, subscribe, check out our sponsors, Walmo Sport, Courtside Sports. You can get all the gear that you would normally get at your store, but for 10% off using our code. It's a no-brainer. Links are all below. Thanks for the support, guys.